Today we're going to be focused on volume, and we're going to be finding the volume of cylinders, of prisms, and then of solids, which is just like a compound volume thing. So first we're going to talk about what is volume. Volume is a 3D thing, so we always label it with units to the third power. And it really is just the space that an object takes up. The space that an object takes up. And so, what is a right cylinder? Well, a right cylinder specifically is a cylinder that sits at a right angle. So volume, space an object takes up, 3D space, units to the third power because it's 3D. A right cylinder is a cylinder that sits at a right angle. So some things to think about. You're probably familiar with the volume formula of a rectangular prism. Volume equals length times width times height. How does this compare to the area formula for a rectangle? Well, when we think about the formula for a rectangle's area, we do length times width. So really, we're just taking the area and multiplying it by the height. Over here, here's the volume formula for a cylinder. This is new to you. Volume equals pi r squared times h. Think about how does this compare to the area formula for a circle when we know the area is pi r squared. And so really, we're just doing the area of that base circle times its height. Just like for a rectangular prism, we're doing the area of that base rectangle and then multiplying it by its height to get its volume. So what relationship do you notice between the area of the base in each figure and the volume if we turn that shape into a prism or cylinder? That the volume is always equal to capital B times H, where capital B represents the base area. So anytime we have a right cylinder or a rectangular prism, things that sit at a right angle 3D, we can find the area of the base and we can multiply that by the height to get the total volume of that shape. So if we come up to this first part, name this figure. This figure over here is a right cylinder, but we're just for our purposes, all we have to write is a cylinder. The volume formula for a cylinder was up here on the front. Volume equals pi r squared times h. Volume equals pi r squared times h. So what information do we know over here? Well, we know that the radius is 7 inches. We know that the height is 16 inches. And so we're just going to take these numbers and we're going to plug them into our formula. Pi r squared times h, pi times my radius 7 squared times h, which is 16. Remember that we always want to do exponents first. So pi times 7 squared is 7 times 7 is 49 times 16. I'm going to use my calculator to do 49 times 16 quickly. I get 784 times pi. Now this right here is my exact answer. This is my exact answer in terms of pi. Oops, sorry.
Lee is in Stout. If you're in the building, please come to the office. Lee is in Stout.
Then I'm going to take my exact answer, plug it into the calculator, 784 times pi. And when I do that, I'm getting my estimated answer rounded to the nearest tenth. We've got 2,463.00864. My 0's in the tenths place. It looks 1 to the right, and the 0 tells it to stay the same. So 2,463 and 0 tenths inches cubed is my rounded or estimated answer. So my exact answer does still need a label, inches cubed. They both have labels of inches cubed because they're volume, they're three-dimensional shapes. And now we can carry on with example number 2, finding volume of the cylinder. Now this volume formula, again, volume equals pi r squared times h. What do we know? It gives us diameter. Diameter is equal to 24 kilometers, which means our radius is half of that, divided in 2 is 12 kilometers. We also know that our height is 11 kilometers. From here, we use our formula, volume equals pi times r squared, in this case that's 12 squared, times our height, which is 11. We always want to do our exponents first, so pi times 144 times 11. 144 times 11 is 1,584 pi. Now this is my exact answer, 1,584 pi. It's in terms of pi. I haven't rounded or estimated anything at all. My label here is kilometers cubed, and I'm good. For my estimated answer, I have to plug this into my calculator. And when I plug this into my calculator, 1,584 times pi, I'm getting 4,976.282763. And to the nearest tenth, my 2 looks at my 8. My 8 tells me to round up to a 3. So I get 4,976 and 3/10 kilometers cubed as my estimated answer. So far we've talked about volume. We've talked about volume of prisms and cylinders being the base area times the height. So we always find the area of the circle here, pi r squared, and we multiply that by the height of the cylinder. So that's what we've done in these first 2 examples. We've found the exact answer in terms of pi, and we've also found an estimated answer, which means we've rounded it to the nearest tenth.